Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Hello, my name is Kevin Schroeder. I'm a retired New York City Police Department detective, retired first grade detective. I did 28 years on the New York City Police Department. I started on patrol up in NSU 5 up in Harlem. Then I worked as a police officer in Midtown North Precinct for 8 years, doing patrol, anti-crime, uniform narcotics as well. From there, I went to the narcotics unit. I worked in Manhattan South Narcotics as well as Manhattan North Narcotics, where I received my detective shield. 1997, I was transferred to the Midtown North Detective Squad, where I was formerly a cop downstairs, and I was there for 16 years. I was also an elected DEA delegate representing detectives in the Midtown North Precinct as well as the squad, and I retired in October of 2012 as a first grade detective. Years ago, I was talking to some guys, and I said, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I said, there's all these radio shows on radio, and you don't really hear much about cop talk. It's all negative cop talk. Nothing good, nothing funny stories, good stories. It's all bad, bad, bad. However, it'd be nice if they had a show out there, cop talk even, just call it, and just have some cops talk about basically a page from their notebook. So a page from a cop's notebook, basically. And, whether it be a funny story, get involved into a shooting, or even, meet a celebrity and give him a ride home because he was too intoxicated to drive himself, whatever the case may be. And just come up with something like that. And 4 or 5 years later, I happened to be speaking to some friends of mine, one retired Captain Ed Mamet, and he liked the idea, and he says, maybe we should try to do something. And here we are today. I'm here with my co-host of the show, Cop Talk, retired Captain Ed Mamet.
Hello, everybody. As Kevin said, my name is Edward Mamet. I spent 40 years in the New York City Police Department. I'm kind of ancient. I joined the New York City Police Department in February of 1959. It's a long, long time ago. Through the years, I studied for promotion. I reached the exalted rank of captain. That is the highest civil service rank in the New York City Police Department. But the majority of my career was in the detective service. I was a detective third grade, detective second grade. I was a sergeant supervisor of detectives. I was a lieutenant commander of detectives. I was a captain of the detectives for a while. And the bulk of my captaincy, believe it or not, after all that detective experience, was in uniform that I really enjoyed. I was away from patrol for so many years as a detective that I actually enjoyed going back to patrol, naturally, as a boss. I mean, and now I was in charge of things instead of being a serf. And when Kevin came up with this idea, I thought it was great, because what's interesting is I had been discussing this with somebody else at the time, and we were kicking it around. And then when Detective Schroeder mentioned it to me, I said, wow, this is great. We can put our minds together. And so here we are today doing what we like to do. My background gave me a lot of experience. So I feel as after 40 years, I somewhat of an authority on police work. My assignments were so varied that I don't want to bore everybody going through them. But I've been all over the place. I was on patrol, I was detectives, I was in staff, I was in intelligence. I was on 2 leave of absences from the police department to other agencies. When I retired, after 40 years, I was a police practices consultant for about 20 years. And I testified in many cases involving police liability, which today is a very big issue. As everybody knows, the police are constantly being attacked left and right, physically and, in the newspapers. And so my expertise was often used in these lawsuits that were brought against police agencies. So my experience served me well for this program.
And our vision for Cop Talk basically is speaking to law enforcement personnel at city, state, and federal levels, active and retired, as well as their family members throughout the nation, and possibly global with it. Maybe we'll be speaking someday to police officers and personnel over in Israel, as well as Germany, as well as Ireland, and go on and on. So WABC has that availability to reach everyone throughout the world, basically. So that's our vision, to basically be speaking about what's hot in the news today, as well as going back to talking about 9/11. So that's our vision.